GAIN's mission is to spark a radical transformation of the employment prospects of neurodivergent people in the insurance and investment industries. Our members are committed to this mission. Together, we act as a hub and collaborate on research, best practice, and pilots to develop an industry playbook for neuroinclusion. However, each company is at a different stage in their development, with unique circumstances, enablers, and barriers to progress. What steps will be most effective for each company differs depending on a variety of factors, not all of which are under their control. The GAIN benchmark was developed to provide our members with clear guidance on what stage of development they are at and what action they should take to make progress on their goals. The first pilot version of the benchmark was developed with feedback and support from Chrysalis, a neuro-occupational therapy and rehabilitation service, and Diversity and Ability, an award-winning social enterprise led by and for disabled people. The first public benchmark report was released in early 2024, and we now publish an annual report on progress. The GAIN benchmark operates on the principle of the 4 stages of competence, a hierarchy of awareness, learning, and mastery of a topic that reflects the way people grow skills and knowledge. Stage 0, unconscious incompetence, also known as ignorance. The phrase, "you don't know what you don't know," is apt here. At this stage, an individual not only lacks a skill, they lack an understanding of what that skill is, how it applies, and why it matters. They may have no idea they lack the skill at all. Within the GAIN framework, this would be a company that does not yet understand why inclusion, belonging, psychological safety, and neurodiversity matter. There's been no attempt made to create an inclusive culture or to examine the culture that organically developed within the company. As a consequence, processes around candidate selection, employee onboarding, training, and career progression may replicate or amplify unconscious bias. Stage 1, conscious incompetence, also known as awareness. It's one thing to recognize that something is important, but quite another thing to know what to do about it. An individual at this stage has a lot of learning to do and will likely make some incorrect decisions from a place of good intentions if left to work independently. At this stage, companies have recognized the value of belonging and of psychological safety, but are in the early stages of making transformation. There will be a broad variation in the knowledge level between employees based on their own personal motivations for learning about neurodiversity outside the workplace. Some individuals may be quite knowledgeable, but hamstrung by outdated processes and anxious about supporting a neurodiverse team without sufficient training, support, and resources. Other individuals will still be at the ignorant stage. Awareness raising and early learning resources will be particularly important to level the company up. Stage 2, conscious competence, also known as learning. With the right resources, support, and external assistance, individuals at this stage are able to make some good decisions. Training and education is being pursued, and skills are gradually leveling up, although not always linearly and not always equally across all areas. Mistakes will still be made, and confidence building is important. Companies at this stage are likely to continue raising awareness as pockets of ignorance and disinterest will persist, but they are more likely to start looking ambitiously at the improvements they can make, not only to individual situations, but to core processes, practices, and environments. At this stage, companies will begin embedding neuroinclusion more deeply, investing in changes to policy, training standards, recruitment processes, and they may undertake office refits, recruitment pilots, or other significant work. Stage 3, unconscious competence, also known as mastery. If you've ever successfully learned to speak a second language fluently, or to drive a car, or ride a bike, you'll be familiar with how this stage feels. The skill moves from being something you consciously work on to something almost instinctive and natural, and you'll be able to help teach others how to do it too. Companies at this stage have embedded neuroinclusion into workplace culture, practices, and processes. It will now be jarring to them when an individual employee within the company acts counter to the concept. New employees will continue to need training and education to ensure they understand how to apply the core values of the company, but the average employee will have an appropriate level of understanding for their responsibilities. That does not mean that no employee will ever experience difficulty, of course. At this stage, companies are likely to take a more ambassadorial approach, positioning themselves as industry leaders on the topic and sharing expertise with others. There are many factors that go into neuroinclusive transformation, from ease of accessing adjustments in the workplace to unspoken norms around socializing with colleagues. The GAIN benchmark sorts these factors into 6 categories. These are working environment, the physical workspace, looking at whether the workspace meets the needs of employees, how much control they have to tailor the environment, and whether or not employees feel confident utilizing the different spaces where flexibility is offered. Company culture, how psychologically safe employees feel to be open in the workplace, exploring factors that contribute to the sense of safety, and how managers and teams approach workplace norms. HR practices and norms. We look at how leaders, HR, and managers make decisions regarding adjustments, progression, and performance, and the experiences employees have of receiving the outcome of those decisions. Recruitment practices and norms. Looking at how hiring decisions are made, what kinds of adjustments and flexibility are available, and reviewing the vacancies and recruitment pages of the company website. Leadership engagement. How active the senior leaders in the company are in workplace neurodiversity initiatives, how visible they are, and whether the company has any ambassadors to neurodiversity within senior leadership. Employee engagement. How engaged employees are with resources and events on neuroinclusion, and how effective any additional resources are likely to be as a result. Companies that undergo our benchmark service receive a score from 0 to 3 in each of these 6 categories, and an overall score. Alongside this, they receive a detailed report that outlines the factors that contributed to their score, what these factors mean for them as a company, and a set of recommendations for actions to help increase their score. The exact length of benchmark reports varies, but can include an explanation of the benchmark score tiers. For companies in their second or third benchmark, a reminder of the recommendations made in their previous benchmark and a summary of any actions they confirmed having taken based off of it. An outline of their score with comparisons against any previous year and against the wider GAIN benchmark score for the industry. A short summary section highlighting specific key findings. A detailed section for each significant pattern or finding outlining what was observed in the data, why it matters, and what action GAIN recommends as a result. A summary section listing out the full overall recommendation to be utilized as part of a roadmap for change. Members are then invited to meet virtually and discuss the results, and it is in this meeting that we can work with them to help develop their roadmap for the next 12 months. Some companies will use the meeting to plan their roadmap, while others will use it to seek clarification on the data and then develop their own roadmap internally. We do not share the reports for individual companies with the public, although as a member you are welcome to share your results in any way you wish. In fact, we encourage companies to share at least some of the outcomes and your resulting plans with your employees. That way, the individuals who contributed to the benchmark report understand the value of the time they took. Some companies, especially those in their second year who have seen the measurable impact of their efforts, also choose to share and celebrate aspects of their benchmark and the initiatives they took with the public. GAIN members can choose to display digital badges celebrating their most recent benchmark score, and you will be provided one after your report. Each year, we then collate the data from all benchmarks and compile these to produce a public benchmark report, anonymized, which outlines the broad trends we see across our membership, what this means for the industry, and what recommendations we make as a result. This public benchmark allows all participating companies to see how they compare to their peers and how the changes they've made contribute to transformation through the industry. The benchmark service is included in the membership fee for Gold and Industry Transformer members. It can also be purchased as a separate service on request, either by upgrading your membership or, for non-members, by purchasing it ad hoc. We assess companies through analysis of key data, including an anonymous survey distributed to all employees in the company, asking about key aspects of employee experience and allowing a comparison of responses from employees, managers, leaders, and HR representatives. A key core data survey sent to our primary contacts, which gathers factual information on specific processes and steps members have made against GAIN strategy for industry transformation. A review of randomly selected vacancies advertised online, as well as a review of the main landing pages of the company's careers website. To book your benchmark as a Gold or Industry Transformer member, contact your relationship manager at GAIN and request a benchmark. We offer a limited number of benchmark slots per month, and slots are reserved on a first-come, first-served basis, sometimes in advance. We will advise the available slots and book in with you accordingly. We may recommend timing the launch of your benchmark to coincide with a neurodiversity-related event. This can be particularly beneficial at ensuring sufficient engagement by employees with the survey. As your membership entitlement at Gold or Industry Transformer includes provision for more than one event a year, we can arrange and facilitate this for you at no extra cost. 1 month before your benchmark slot, you will receive an email reminding you of the upcoming benchmark and a copy of the slide deck for the event if you have chosen to have one. If you need to defer your benchmark at this stage, please advise us ASAP and we will notify you of the next available slots to take instead. 2 weeks before your benchmark, you will receive a live link to the all-employees survey for you to distribute to your own employees using whatever internal company communication channels work best for you, a live link to the core data survey for you to complete or send to a nominated colleague, a link to an explainer video you can distribute to employees to help them understand the importance of their participation, and printable graphics and posters you can use as part of your internal promotion of the benchmark. The benchmark survey remains open for 4 weeks from the go live date. During this time, GAIN will email you weekly to confirm the total number of responses received, what this represents as a percentage of your employee base, whether any specific group is underrepresented, such as senior leaders, HR, managers, or other employees, whether you have met the minimum participation rate for good data quality, and, if not, whether we recommend any specific actions, and whether the primary contact survey has been completed. Once the 4-week open period is done, and once your nominated primary representative has completed the core data survey, we then take all collated information and analyze it, generating both your unique score and a detailed analysis of what the data implies. You will usually receive your benchmark report within 3 weeks of all surveys having been completed, although we will keep you informed of any potential delays. We hope you will consider booking your benchmark through GAIN. Please reach out to your GAIN relationship manager or to the general manager to ask about our current open calendar slots.